Hey, hey everybody. Hey Jack, good to see you. Come on in, come on in. It's an incredible day, one of the best, really. And today on Coffee with Scott Adams, we're going to have a good time, even if you're listening to this at 1.5 times speed. Well, you'll just get the goodness a little bit faster that way, won't you? But you're only going to get that in replay. I'm afraid I can't talk that fast in real time. But before we begin, what would make this extra special? I think you know. It's a simultaneous sip, and all you need is a cup or a mug or a glass, a tankard, chalice, a stein, a canteen, jug, or flask, a vessel of any kind. This is a problem. I can't reach my coffee cup because my microphone isn't long enough. This is a problem. All right, you're going to have to come with me. YouTube, stay where you are. Periscope, come with me. Come with me. Oh, yeah. There we go. That's the good stuff. Join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the simultaneous sip, and it happens now. Go. All right, here's an observation which I make a lot, and every time I do, there's some new evidence to support it. And it goes like this. Democrats think in terms of goals. A goal, for example, would be everybody is out of poverty. Pretty good, right? That'd be a good goal, get everybody out of poverty. Another goal would be, something for the environment and climate change, etc. So the Democrats are good on goals. In fact, I like a lot of their goals because they're social good kinds of goals. Everybody treated nice. Everybody's got equal opportunities. Those are good goals, very good goals. Republicans have a slightly different take on things, and this is just an observation. Doesn't mean everyone, right? It's sort of a general observation. And Republicans tend to be systems oriented. That is to say, we don't know what the final outcome will be, and we don't know how long it will take to get there, and we don't even know if we can get there. We'd like a world where there's nobody in poverty, but we can't make that a goal. But we can make a system that does the best job of getting us there. And if you design your systems right, let's say your capitalism systems and your democratic systems, your government systems, your legal system, if you get all those systems working right, then the goals take care of themselves as much as can be, right? You maybe can't get to the ultimate end point, but it's the best you can do. Now look at Mitch McConnell's statement, many of you saw, in which he talked about the impeachment outcome in which the president was acquitted. Mitch McConnell voted to acquit. The reason was systemic. McConnell said, I don't think that the Senate has jurisdiction over someone who's not in politics anymore. Now, the Democrats would say, wait a minute, we've got this precedent. We've got this legal precedent, we've got this history, where we've got this case where you really can do that. But here's the thing. Suppose you really could do that. Let's say the Democrats were right. Let's say the law was on their side. Let's say they could impeach somebody who's out of office. Should they? Should they? Is that a system that you would want going forward? Do you want that to be your system that applies forever? I very much agreed with Mitch McConnell. Now, he may have been inconsistent with case law, but he's not inconsistent with what makes a good system. And a good system is, why the fuck does the Senate have any control over a private citizen after they're out of office? Now, obviously, in the sense of making laws, that's their job. But in terms of impeachment, what the fuck do you have to do with that? I don't care what the case law is. Doesn't matter what the case law is. It's obvious that's a bad system to punish somebody after they're out of office. Now, as McConnell says and others say, we do have a legal system. If Trump did something that the legal system needs to deal with, there's no restriction on that, right? But Mitch McConnell, I completely back his decision exactly the way he did it. I like the entire thing he did. Now, he was very hard on Trump for his responsibility for the Capitol attack. Do you feel the same as McConnell does about the Capitol attack? Do you feel like McConnell was maybe a little too hard on the president? I don't care. I don't care at all. Here's why. We have this dumb fuck system where the victims of the crime, in this case the politicians who were actually at the Capitol, they're the victims of the crime. They're the ones with PTSD. They're the ones who are being hunted. They're the ones who are afraid for their lives. McConnell is a fucking victim of the crime that he was on the jury to judge. What kind of a fucking system puts the victim or the victim's family on the fucking jury? What kind of a system is that? If you put the victim on the fucking jury, don't expect them to say nice things about the perpetrator of the crime. Mitch McConnell should have gone. I won't use the word should. I hate that word. It seems entirely appropriate to me that the victim of the crime is a little bit pissed off. Put yourself in Mitch McConnell's place. You are in the Capitol and you don't think your president did enough to save your fucking life. I probably would have voted to impeach. Just leave that hanging there. If I had been in the Senate, and I, or even just my colleagues, had been in the Capitol building, and I didn't think the president did enough to stop it, I wouldn't even care what the charges were. I wouldn't even care what the impeachment articles were. I wouldn't even care about any of it. I would fucking vote to impeach that guy if I were the victim. Now, I'm not the victim, so I get the advantage of, being outside the system a little bit. So I've got a little bit more objectivity. But in my opinion, anybody who was in the building, Ted Cruz, anybody else, could have voted to impeach. I would have done it just as a victim. Forget my responsibility to the public. I wouldn't even care. So maybe you shouldn't make me a senator, because I would have ignored the law. I would have ignored the facts, except the one fact that I didn't think the president did enough to save my fucking life. I'd care about that, and I wouldn't care about one fucking thing else. So I back Mitch McConnell's take on this 100%, and I actually respect him for using a technical argument that I agree with, that the Senate should not have jurisdiction, even though maybe technically they do. So a standing ovation for Mitch McConnell for the way he handled this as a victim, right? If that's the system, putting victims on the jury, this is what you're going to get. So good for him. Join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the simultaneous sip, and it happens now. Go.